From CBS News Bay Area, this is Voters Decide.
Millions went to the polls last night to make their votes count. Big Super Tuesday wins for former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden. Then word came this morning, breaking right here, that Nikki Haley is suspending her campaign. So talking about this evolving race to the White House, CSU East Bay professor Dr. Nolan Higdon, a big question: is Haley backing out, suspending her campaign, going to give more win to former President Trump or current President Biden in your estimation?
We have very little polling on who the Haley voters are. The polling we do have seemed to indicate that the people who are supporting Haley overwhelmingly did not support Donald Trump in 2020. So that seems to indicate that they are more likely to vote for Joe Biden or third-party candidate or not vote at all. Trump will most certainly get some of those voters who will vote Republican. But the remainder, it remains to be seen. I think I would wager that the Biden campaign right now is having a lot of discussions on how to capture some of those Haley voters before Trump can.
You really use the words "not vote at all." And I think if I'm in the Biden or Trump camps, I'm seeing the not vote at all people as prime political real estate. And also something else that's very interesting. We're starting to hear about this no labels and the potentiality for a third party candidate. Do you think there's any win for that as they look at the no vote at all political real estate?
In the American political system, third-party candidates are very important. The recent presidential elections have been decided by such thin margins. Like 40,000 roughly in three key states in 2016 decided the vote. About 120,000 in 2020 decided the vote. So a third-party candidate taking, tens of thousands of votes from one candidate or another can be pivotal. But there is a purpose. Third parties generally run as a way to try and motivate parties to move one direction or another on a particular issue. So no labels is one of many third-party candidates who are seeking it to try and garner votes as a way to threaten the Democrat or Republican Party if they don't move on one issue or another.
And we understand there's a ticking clock for no labels and the others to really signal whether they're going to jump in. But doesn't this let the air out of the tires, so to speak, for the two who are already in it and potentially swing the entire thing?
It can. That's the power of third parties. That's why it's really up to the two dominant parties, the Democrats and Republicans, to try and find messaging and policy and outreach strategies to draw those people away from the third party candidates. Typically, the two big parties try and shame these voters into voting for them with little to no success. I think Biden and Trump are going to have to reach out to those independent or undecided or potential third-party voters and make the case why they do need to turn out on Election Day, but do so for them.
All right. Well, we know that the conversations will continue not only on air and online with you, but also with your students who shape the future of our country. Dr. Nolan Higdon, we thank you from CSU East Bay for your time this morning. Hopefully we can all in our classrooms and in our workspaces have civilized dialogue about this.
Yeah.